Welcome to the Pacific Northwest, where often we find ourselves climbing conifer trees. Little widowmaker. So I'm just advancing this a little ways up at a time as I go because I didn't take the time to shoot into the tree. So those ones right there, see? If you just cut those off and let them go, then they tangle in the tips and then they swing out and then they let go when they're over the thing that you don't want them to hit. I actually filed this last night. I noticed a couple teeth were knocked down. I was wondering how that happened. I think cutting in the chipper chute maybe. This is what I'm talking about. I advance a little as I go, YouTube. See, I keep this little throw ball on my harness and then I advance. If I just dropped it, it would fall on the deck, but if I swing it in a little and then cut it off, I'll miss the deck. And we don't have to rig it that way. See, I missed it by probably 6 inches. Let me know when you're clear. What a hassle. It's a hassle when they're going over another tree. You don't know it from up here, YouTube, but there's a dogwood down there that's beloved that we don't want to hit. Getting there. Take me a while to get away from this other tree. So here's where I'll advance again for those wanting to see how we do this. This is very rudimentary method. Put the throw ball on. So I've left my flip line attached here, obviously, or I'd be on the ground right now. So then I advance a little bit ahead there, store the throw ball back on the harness, and then now I'm double tied again and I go back to work. So the disadvantage of this way, if you shoot a line into it from the very beginning, Then the whole time you're just going up your line, you don't have to keep resetting. But if you do that, then you're SRT, meaning you're on a single rope. And the other end of your rope is going way over the tree and down and tied down there. And there's more chance, I suppose, of accidentally cutting the rope that's going down, because it's usually on the back side of the tree. This is kind of long and big and heavy and goes out over the deck, but it'll hinge under. I don't know if you had a good view of that, probably not. But basically we cut it enough to change the origin from which the second cut will be sending it. Does that make sense? Or is that just way too complicated a way to say that it's hanging over? We cut a little so it's not hanging over, then we cut it again while it's not hanging over. This one right here is a fatty. This is the biggest, most overreaching limb on the tree right here. So right now I'm asking myself, do I want to rig it so that I don't risk it popping and falling too soon? Or do I think I can manhandle it and finesse it without a rope? And the answer, I feel like, is I can finesse it in there. Although it does give me pause for thought. Saw's a bit grabby. I got the rakers a little deep on it. It's not going to be good if I have to use the whole bar though. And that time's coming, yeah. Super grabby. The heck? Definitely don't want slings hanging on your saw side. I spoke too soon. There's still some whopper limbs that reach over. Bingo. That was a satisfying shot. First person shooter view. See that big pop right there? Where it stops hinging slow. So you don't want that to happen and the whole thing to let go when you're doing a great big one. Some species of trees, you couldn't even hinge them down like this. You'd be crazy. They'd just snap. Now, you probably couldn't tell by looking, but I was cutting from this side this way so that the last bit of the wood was holding was on this side, so that this limb wouldn't hang up in those limbs. It kind of went out like that. I'll do it again here so you can see it. That's above me, so I can't really do it unless I go upside down like this. Now watch this limb. See, it moved out to the left instead of straight down. Oh! Got it a little hurried and I almost squished the dogwood. See, this one here is going to be a pain. There's nothing I can do with that except cut it off and then wrestle it out of there. I got it to come this way a little bit. So believe it or not, that could have been made to look much harder by cutting in a less desirable place first. Now you, dearly beloved, are sitting out there on a big one. Let me put you in a new spot. I've talked about this before, but if I cut out here in the limb, even if I'm right at the collar, it might snap and let go and swing under and hit that dogwood. But if I cut into the log a little bit, then I'm gonna grab a hold of some stronger hinge from the log. It's gonna be holding it from inside, theoretically. Now I'm going to switch to my view. I think you like that view better of how I cut it, and it goes down beside the deck. See it? It hangs over a little bit. It's going to swing under and miss the deck. It's going to be just right. See how it went like this? Because I cut from this side and gravity opened the cut and it moved away from the deck, and then I cut it off as it dropped down. I like these kind of jobs where it's quiet and I just chit chat with my crowd out there. Damien's on with us too. He chimes in now and then, right, Damien? Oh, he's not on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Proximity is getting a little closer because the tree leans toward the deck, and so as you get closer to the top, you're actually farther out. Now, see if I can get this one to go down in here without hanging up out there, and then I'll process it further. Yeah. The way I process it further is I come down a little bit and get a hold of something that makes a good handle. And I cut it off and swing out here and drop it. Then I come back and I get the last, just like the movers. Move it from here to there. So I'm doing it without telling you, but see, you don't just cut any old place. You cut where you need to based on the situation. If I cut like this, then the last part that's holding on is going to be over there, which is going to lead this limb right into the fir tree and hang it up. But if I cut from the other side, it's going to lead it out here. See? Right out in there. Then I can come down a little bit. And be able to put some English on it when it comes out. Another way to do this, the safer, more sure way would be to put a speed line clear to the top and then sling all these up and lead them all out hooked up toward one direction that you agree with. But also, you know, I haven't had to do any of that setup. I've been able to do it all just sort of freestyle. You guys can't see it, but the dogwood is right down under there. I don't want to hit it. I want something to hang in those limbs and cause it to swing under and ruin the lady's little tree that she loves. So again, if I cut it here, it's just going to go down into that stuff and hang up. Which is okay, I suppose. It's not a real heavy limb. I could force it out. But if I do this, it's gonna come over here and be easier to fish out. See? Watch. See? Just like magic, way over here. Now, I'm kind of leaning with my rope this way, so when I cut this off, it's kind of a Wile E. Coyote thing. You know how he cuts the limb he's on, the one that's holding him? But it can be real handy sometimes to do that, because when I cut this off, I'm holding it, so it's going to be the thing that's not holding me, which is going to make me go that way, which is where I need to go to drop it. See? There's a ton of little things that happen in every little blue collar thing, from this to folding laundry or whatever, that I think is fascinating to zoom in on the details of exactly how a person is getting the thing done that they're getting done, because you can do a thing, or you can do a thing with style and purpose. I call it deliberate. People hassle me on the great oracle of the internet. They hassle me for some of the things I do. They say it was sketchy or dodgy, but I'll find myself often saying, no, it wasn't lucky. It wasn't some big Hail Mary thing. I know I'm not being specific to a certain video or anything right now, but it's just a reoccurring theme. I'll say it wasn't luck and a Hail Mary. It was deliberate. And then they think you're even dumber. You deliberately did stupid stuff? Well, where did the piece go? Did it go to a perfect spot? And in their minds, the level of microscopic small move management is too great for them to anticipate, and so they think it had to have been luck, when actually what I'm showing you, little things like I'm doing right now, they're not anything but deliberate. This one goes out over his deck. Okay, I don't like that. If I cut it off, it'll hit the deck. If I cut it off the wrong way. If I hold wood over here and harness some of that hinge power from inside the log on this particular species, then I'm going to be able to swing it over here and then process it. And when it gets over here, I'm going to have to be careful how I process it, because I'm not going to want it to go bing banging off the trunk and then get flung out toward the deck either. Okay. Now when I cut this, stuff hanging on to, that's annoying. That's real drama. Now when I cut this right here, it has all this banana weight like this. So yes, it's hanging over the deck now still, but when I cut it, it's going to go like this because gravity is going to take it this way, and then I'm going to cut it off. And that limb right there is going to rub against the trunk on the way down and keep it from going into that dogwood. Watch. Okay, that's all predictable stuff. Should we do it again? Should we keep the session going here? That one hangs out over the fir limb. So I'll kind of cut it straight down through here. By straight, I mean not like this, not like this, but like this. See, and I didn't cut into the trunk at all. So if this was a real big heavy limb, it would have pow and it would just been gone, because it does have some brittleness. I did not harness inside the log. I kept out in the limb here. And so that's why you get more of this poppy look. You get all kinds of people when you go public with something and they see you make a back cut without a face cut. They're all, you're supposed to make a notch first. And they've got some book or some teacher in their head that hadn't shown them any other scenario than just like a cookie cutter, once, twice, 3 times, always the same. It's interesting, the people who go on YouTube and do a lot of correcting, they're always the ones who actually have some knowledge. I call it enough to be dangerous or enough to be annoying, but they actually don't know as much about it as somebody who's day in and day out. Think about it. If you were, they say it's 10,000 hours to become an expert, right? So if you did 2 hours a day at piano or whatever, what if you did a thing like this for 8, 10, 12 hours a day for years and years and years? Would you know something about it? Probably so. And then the armchair quarterback on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or whatever might have some knowledge, but they'll be just like that green belt karate kid that wants to go test it out on somebody when he gets a little bit of knowledge. Okay, what am I going to do here? Basically hinge it straight down. I know it sounds like I'm being like a little negative about the hecklers. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to lead those who would hear to a more wise 50,000 foot broad picture viewpoint. There are people that are calm and wise without knowing about a thing. I sure wasn't. I had to learn by embarrassment and pain. I was not a wise person that learned from other people's mistakes for the most part. It's just lucky that the internet and YouTube didn't exist when I was younger and thought I knew everything and was wrecking myself all the time. Hey, what's up?
Hey. For some reason I can't get on with you. It's weird. It almost acts like it's on with you, but I can't hear you at all.
Oh, it's because my my Cena unit fell. I didn't know it, but it's not on my hat. It's on somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be down there somewhere.
That would make sense. It's
I was wondering. I was wondering why you were so quiet.
Yeah, I kept trying to click in, and I'm like, it's weird because it like clicks in like it's tuned with him, but it's not there.
Should we stop and let you look for? Should you look for that Cena unit or not?
Probably, because there's a lot of stuff down here.
Yeah, we're gonna let Damien look for my Cena unit that fell off.
But,
Thought he was being kind of quiet.
Yeah, I forwarded him the bids, so.
Okay, thanks. I'll wait for you to give me the good news.
Okay, sounds good.
That was probably 10 minutes. Guess I banged that off of there somehow. I'm just kind of enjoying myself, Damien. Not really rushing through anything here. Cut that off because that's just weight that'll leave the handle. Sometimes these ones that go up like this, when you try to hinge them under, they pop off. They behave differently than one like this. So I'll have to be more careful with this one. So just to be safe with this one. I don't want to get this far into the tree and then break one off over the deck from way up high when I know it's got that look. Let me know when you're clear. About time to send the top here. Oh, that wasn't flat enough, you say? How about that?
Now that is what we're talking about.
I can make them flat if I want to, but going into a big pile of brush in the woods, I'm kind of less motivated to. This saw isn't gonna handle this wood. I'll do another one, but alright, that battery's toast. In case you're wondering, YouTube, we're out past one in the woods in fire season, so I have to use a battery. we might fudge and use a saw real quick for the butt cut before the cops can get here. No thread on the dogwood. So comparing the power of the DeWalt to the Echo, the DeWalt obviously has got more power. But that other thing is so light and geeter and grabby on the limbs that, boy, you just gotta use it for that Echo. Still being quiet out in the woods with my batteries. Whenever it's like this, young YouTube aspiring climber, go ahead and, if you're near an adjacent tree that you're not gonna cut down, if you're leaving it behind, go ahead and utilize it for a clever little tie-in above you while you're coming down or working the other spar down like this. Kind of hard to do all this with a little battery, so we already killed one battery, but there's a dogwood right out there that I don't want to cream. I'm gunning straight towards it, but I've sniped it so that it has a larger flat area over here, and so it'll tip it away from that dogwood a little as it goes over. And Damien said I should show you that since that's what I was doing up here. And Damien, if it hits the dogwood now, then I'm gonna wish I hadn't showed that. Well, it was perfect.
Wow, that was a perfect shot since you listened to me and sniped it off to the right. We were concerned with it coming a little too far out and going BAM! Right through the dogwood. So he sniped it just off downhill a little bit. So it'd come down and then tip off out to the right.
Can I drop this log straight out across your little four-wheeler road? Or actually it'll probably be just towards it. I don't think I won't be having any collateral except maybe some of those little firs out there.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Okay. Damien, just give me that blue rope.
I don't know how many of you guys have these monkey beaver gear bags, but they're super handy so you don't have to have a bunch of coiled up rope getting caught on little things in the back of the truck. Head over to monkeybeaver.com and grab one of those if you don't have one already. This one's for our 1/2-inch 200-foot rigging line, and yeah, it just makes it nice and clean. I like to tie that knot so whenever they get up there, whenever this gets up there, they can just pull on this and then this will come out like that. Like that. Okay, you're good. Another nice thing about these bags is he's pulling it up. I'll just take this around and it'll all flick out of there nicely. I can take it down the hill where we're going to be pulling from.
That's a 500 tree.
I know.
Spider-Man.
It's well after 1 o'clock and fire season, and so we only have one cut to make, and it's a little too big for a...
Tell them about the last 2 days and our weather.
Oh yeah, it's been raining. It's been absolutely raining in sheets.
Rained overnight, last night.
Still though, according to the rules, we
Yeah.
can't run a saw right now.
Yeah.
But
You
it's
can
only
feel
3
it.
cuts.
You
We
can
save
feel
it till the
air.
end.
You can feel the air is different today.
Time to bust out the flamethrower.
The only concern I had slightly is it rolling into that dogwood. So I was like playing it out in my head whether
Whether we should move these dogs around?
yeah, or whether like a open low face would be better, or a high shallow hopper to gain some distance away from it. You guys, did you see the flex in this pine log? It was pretty cool. It flexed super hard and then bounced up in the air. And now there's a nice little bridge to get back to the truck. So got it all done. No drama, aside from losing the Cena unit, SMH10 to be precise. And we'll see you on the next one.
No.